And let's roll out, roll out, roll out, roll out, let's roll out.
Woo! Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. This is Food, Fitness, and Fun with my main man, DRE.
Let's get it.
All right, look at that. Always switching up the intro. You know what I'm saying? Still doing it. Every time y'all think you know what Dre's going to say, nah, I switch it on.
I don't know what I'm going to say.
You know what I'm
That's
saying?
just crazy.
What Eddie Murphy said, but then you switch it on him. You know what I'm saying?
You know what I mean?
And I am JD, aka He Who Pods. And so we're back with another episode of Food, Fitness, and Fun. And another thing about Goggins. Nah, I'm just playing.
Yo. We can always part to it. If
maybe another time.
Deep dive.
Maybe another time.
Next year.
Not today. Right. Maybe another time.
When he writes another book.
Well, actually, anyway. So it ain't Goggins time this time. But somebody did ask me, somebody like, yo, yeah, about the next episode, you're going to keep going with this Goggins shit? It's crazy. It's like, nah.
We hit it and quit it.
That's it. Have fun with it.
And be done with it.
There you go. Yo.
Philosophy of life right there.
You know what I'm saying? So anyway, let's keep it moving. So we're going to start off. Yeah, I know the same old format, baby. Food. So recently I was invited to a little brunch. I know Dre loves brunch. I said, let me bring my brunch up here one time. You know what I'm saying?
I'm a bruncher.
We know. You know what I'm saying? And actually, I thought of you because they had a poached veggie situation. They had eggs poached with veggies, but I went another route. So I have two things here on my plate. This is on the left, what they call morning hash. And so there's some lovely roasted potatoes. There is an undercooked egg, in my opinion, but it was, it's a fried egg there. I like it a little more like sunny side up, or over easy rather. This one was cooked.
That is sunny side.
That's sunny side. I like over easy, So it was a little undercooked for my liking. But you got a fried egg, and then underneath there was onions and peppers and this is where it gets a little crazy. Sausage, which was not on the menu description. I was like,
That's familiar. I haven't tasted that in like a dozen years.
I mean, right here, there's something in
it's tasty.
Something in my food that shouldn't be here. And so so there was sausage, but I didn't know. So yeah. And then on the right is something I eat all the time. One of my favorites. This is General Tso's cauliflower, which I see a lot of spots are using now, and I like that. So when I go somewhere, I'm like, well, let me see what your General Tso's is like. And so this one was cool. It wasn't very breaded. I'm used to the General Tso's being breaded. This one had a very light coating of breading, almost no breading. And so it was an interesting texture, but it was very tasty, and it had a nice kick for the throat.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I like a little kick on there. So yeah, that was cool.
Yeah.
And so that was my meal. That was my healthy brunch. Oh, and then we had lemonades, but the lemonade didn't make the picture. So yeah, but we had some lemonade. They had fresh squeezed lemonade. That was pretty fly. So a little brunch action. You know what I'm saying? And so the other reason I wanted to share this is to show that like you don't have to go ape shit when you go to brunch, right? Like I know there's unlimited mimosas and tahinis and Bellinis. It's Bellinis, not tahinis. Bellinis and fucking, everything.
Martini, all the eenies.
All the eenies. Then there's the name of our pod, folks. All the eenies. So, you don't have to do that. You could still stay healthy even if you wanted to go to brunch. And why I say that? Because a lot of us, we speak about often here our food choices. And so a lot of times you get invited out and you think, man, I don't want to go out because they're going to try to make me do shit I don't want to do. I'm going to mess up my diet. And so if you can go and skip all the eenies, and you can still have a nice meal with your friends and keep it relatively healthy.
Yeah. All you need is water. You ain't really got to do the eenies.
Right. Like me, look, I had a lemonade,
Yeah.
I didn't have water.
The eenies make it fun.
The eenies make it fun, especially when it's unlimited. You know what I'm
Oh,
saying?
when it's
It's like, oh,
unlimited.
unlimited. Right.
Party.
Then you just turn into, you just turn into bottomless everything. You be bottomless.
Yeah.
Before you
Right.
know it.
Yeah.
How did I get bottomless? I don't know what happened here.
So that's say sometimes that's the goal is for everybody to be bottomless after a while.
That's why I'm scared of you, son. So
Yeah, that's what's up.
that's it for food.
Yeah. All right.
Sweet.
All right.
Talk to him, Dre. I know you got stuff lined up.
Yeah, so I wanted to we're moving very quickly, even though it may not feel like it in the New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, northern area. We're moving very quickly into summer.
Oh,
So
watch
even
your
though,
mouth. It's 60 degrees right now.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Well, where I'm at it's 76, but it's all good.
Well,
But it's like, y'all just had a winter and all that. But I'm saying that to be like, well, we know that this is slowing down. Winter's kind of slowing down.
Spring is here.
Yeah, spring is here, which means summer is going to be right there. And I like to have this conversation about this time when summertime's coming up and everyone want that summer body.
Summer
and I'm always
bodies.
telling people, you know what I mean? Like, yo, don't wait till you got 2 weeks before the summer starts.
What you mean? That's the best
Now's
time.
the time. What can I do for this? My vacation is coming up next week, and I want to lose 20 pounds.
Right.
It's like,
so go on a 30-day fast. I don't know.
Right. Like, why didn't you talk to me in March? We could have did something, what I mean? So we got March, solid April, solid May, and then, a good solid June if you want to talk like that. So let's talk, it's like we could make some transformations in 3 months.
Absolutely.
We could do
totally
something.
agree.
We could make an impact. But we can't make an impact in 3 weeks. So this is the time I like to have these conversations, right? When we start talking about, putting fat down, getting your fat down and building up some muscles so you can look the way you want to look. And, we've had these podcasts before and I like to have them. But the one thing that before I even get into that or before we talk about that, really is the first thing we have to dispel, and we kind of stepped into a little bit, are the fitness myths, right?
Yes.
The fitness myths. And the one that I want to talk about that I've seen on Instagram, seeing this post, is a huge myth when it comes to building muscle. And specifically, you'll see this guy is going to talk about bodybuilders. And as he's talking, what I'm going to do is just stop and we'll sort of elaborate our points and then I'll let it continue.
Okay.
All right. So once again, I'm going to
Dre's
go with the share
feature
button. So I'm going to play this. And like I said, I'm going to stop as we're watching it.
Sweet.
Technically, bodybuilders are 3 times overweight. Wow. You see that? And that's why you see bodybuilders having heart attacks. And then they
I don't know why.
feel that they can eat anything they want and just stay in the gym all day, which is going to take your total life from you to build this body. And then the moment, and this is how you know that this stuff is built off of false analysis, because the moment that they stop working out, all of their muscle turn into what? Fat. Right. They get fat.
All right, I'm gonna stop it right there.
Mm-hmm.
So my man is kind of getting down on bodybuilders, and as you know, I have a lot of respect for bodybuilders,
right?
And there's a lot of myths that's being said right now. Myth, the big one is, said this time and time again. If I had a nickel for every time I said this, and a penny for every time you said it, it's like, yo, muscle does not turn into fat.
Right.
Fat does not turn into muscle.
Right.
These are 2 different things. These are 2 different substances. Oranges doesn't turn into apples, and apples will not turn into oranges.
But what about bananas?
You know what I'm saying? No, it's not going to do that.
Right.
And we know the reason why people think that is when you're going to the gym regularly and you're building muscle, that shows. When you make a decision for whatever reason to stop building muscle, your muscles do something that they call atrophy, which means they're going to get smaller because you're not using them the way you were before.
Right.
And when you say, okay, well, the muscle turned into fat, it just means no, you're probably not doing cardio anymore. bodybuilders have very sort of strict diets in terms of what they eat, what they don't eat. When
Right.
someone says, "Hey, you know what? I don't want to bodybuild anymore," then they are not watching their diet the way they used to. They're
Right, of
not
course.
trying to stay lean. Yeah, they're having that piece of cake. They're going out to Wendy's. They're like, "Fuck it, I'm not doing this anymore." So it's not that the muscles turn to fat; they're gaining more fat. You know,
Absolutely.
so that is a huge sort of misconception that muscles turn into fat. And so, the moment you stop, lifting weights, you're that something is wrong because your muscles just turn into fat. It's like that's super wrong, and you could say that about anything, right? You could just be like, yo, did you see that retired football player? Yeah, man, don't be a football player because when you retire, everything turns into fat, right?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Yo, do you see that retired baseball player? Son, don't ever play baseball because when you retire, it all turns into fat. No,
Right.
it's not baseball or bodybuilding or basketball. It's you stop doing the things you were doing to stay in shape. You're retired. I'm finished. I'm
Right.
done. Yeah. You could tell me how you feel about that.
No, I totally agree. There's a common misconception where like things just kind of mutate into something else. It's like suddenly Mystique turns from this naked blue woman into the senator. No, that's not how it works. This isn't the X-Men. What happens
Right.
is you're decreasing your fat by doing various exercises and you're increasing your muscle. They're two separate things. But what happened is people don't look at the science. People don't ask any questions. They just see like your gut, for example, and they're like, "Oh man, he's got a gut. His gut is getting bigger. I guess his muscles turning to fat." I don't know who the fuck made up this term, but it doesn't make any logical sense. And yeah, exactly what you're saying. I'm just gonna expand. Like, if you're a football player, you're doing 2-a-days. You still have weight training. You're still playing the football games. And same thing, baseball, you go through intensive training. I'm not a baseball fan, so I can't tell you all the training you go through, but I know there's a shitload of training involved. And yeah, if you stop, then yeah, you're going to start gaining fat because one, you stopped doing the things that are burning the fat. And two, like Dre said, it's like, oh, okay, yeah, we going out every night now. We don't got games anymore 3 times a week. I'm retired and I'm living life. I'm having a great time. And so, yeah, I'm about to be fat and I'm about to live my life. I'm about to have a good old time. There's no more constant pressure and practices going on. And so that's what happens. And it's the same thing with anybody who does anything. If you were a runner and you were running marathons once a month for years, and now suddenly you say, I gave up on marathon running, and you just stop marathon running and stop going through all of the training and start to make these bad decisions when it comes to your food intake, your sleep, and everything else, yeah, of course you're going to gain weight. It happens to every one of us, all of us.
Yeah.
That's why my body fluctuates so often, because I'm not consistent. I'll keep it real. I say it all the time on this pod. I haven't been as consistent as I should for years. I always kind of like working out, not working out, working out, not working out, strict my diet, not strict my diet. And so you see that when you look at my body. You see, okay, yeah, oh man, Jay, your shoulders are looking good. Oh man, a couple weeks later, oh, maybe not. You see, oh man, Jay's like, well, Jay said he was 170 with 25% body fat. He's killing it. Oh man, Jay's up to 210 with 33% body fat. He's not killing it. And so your body is going to reflect the decisions that you make. It's less about bodybuilding and more about the decisions you're making on a regular basis.
Right. When you said that, it reminded me of when Jordan retired. Just before he was going to retire, everybody's asking him, "What are you going to do? What are you going to do?" He's like, "Man, I can't wait to retire and just get fat."
Yeah, there it is.
And everybody laughed, and I was just like, I dig it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay, what was he really saying? Yo, by being a basketball player, there's mad exercises I got to do every day to stay in shape.
Yeah.
Every single day. All right, I'm retired. You know what? I ain't got to get up early in the morning. I ain't got to run those miles. I ain't got to go to that gym.
Right.
I'm just going to sit back, enjoy my money, and get fat. Who did we talk about one time on one of our podcasts? We were talking about Jason
Momoa and
no.
what's his name? Vin Diesel. How they get
Yeah,
fat?
the Vin Diesel. Yeah, when they made fun of Vin Diesel, like, oh my God, look at Vin Diesel. Yeah, So as I was saying, it's like the Vin Diesel joint we was talking about a few pods ago, where Vin Diesel was out on his yacht and he was spotted with his family, and he had the fat gut. And the internet went in on him. Oh, he's fat, he's fat, he's fat. And then he got himself together and got ready for the part. But
Right.
you and I were saying, like, so what? You know what I mean? Like, are you missing the big picture here? He's not doing a movie. He's with his family. He's on his yacht, and he wants to enjoy food for a while.
Right.
Whoever told you that you have to be in shape or movie shape 365 days a year, if you want to, I guess it's cool, but he didn't want to do that. And so, this is what we're talking about. It's like, once you stop doing something, your body is going to have a response.
Right. And more so because you've stopped altogether, not because fat transforms, because the things that were keeping your fat low, you've stopped doing.
Yeah, right. And and especially when it comes to eating, it's like, if the more you're consuming, if you're consuming, as we know when it comes to weight, if you consume more than you burn, you're going to get fatter. It's, it's no rocket science to this. So, when I'm sure when he's shooting his movies or he's getting ready to shoot the movies, he eats way less. He probably eats way less fatty foods and just lets things slim on down. And, so that has nothing to do with, bodybuilding is bad and this is bad. So I'm just going to continue what I was showing you and continue to break down a lot of the myths that I see on this.
Fat and flabby.
And most bodybuilders are people who have a lot of muscle. They look good, right? But their energy, their psyche, their mind, it doesn't really seem attractive. They have no vitality around them. They have nothing special going on with their mind.
Because it's a spirit in that. It's a spirit in working out. You're dealing with low thought form frequencies when you're dealing with that. Notice you're in the mirror all day. You flexing all day.
All right. I just wanted to deal with that in terms of the mentality of a bodybuilder, which they're kind of getting it twisted. You know what I'm saying?
Bad backwards.
Yeah, go ahead. I'll let you start. And
That's so backwards. Like, son, you know how disciplined you got to be? Like, they're low frequency and always staring in the mirror? First of all, who said they're always staring in the mirror? What evidence, what facts do we have? None. Second of all, it takes so much discipline. And I don't even really want to be a bodybuilder. I'm not trying to lift up bodybuilders, but just keeping it real. What? Fam, like, it takes so much discipline. And to say, like, oh, they ain't got no fly personalities. Like, how you know that? You dating bodybuilders? Are you friends with bodybuilders? What are you using? What are the metrics in which you're using to decide whether they're dope or not? Because one of the most famous bodybuilders right now, which we've already done an entire episode on, is The Rock. And people fucking love his personality. So what's the basis of this?
And if you go to the king of who made bodybuilding famous, Arnold, right? I would say if you believe that, if you believe that, I say go back to the 70s, watch an old movie called Pumping Iron, and you're going to see a ton of bodybuilders in there with all kinds of different personalities and all kinds of jokes and playing around and being silly and everything else. So I don't really know where that's coming from. In terms of them flexing and looking in the mirror, well, guess what? That's their job. It's no different than saying, man, beauty contestants, they spend so much time looking in the mirror, trying to be Miss America or Miss whoever, they're always into their makeup and they're looking in the mirror all the time. Yes, they're competing on looks. Well, what are bodybuilders doing? They're competing on looks. So they spend time flexing, posing, practicing their poses. And a lot of times they'll do this in between sets. You know how you work out and then you chill for a couple of minutes in between your sets? Well, they don't chill. They'll go into the mirror. They'll flex a little bit. They'll work on their poses and then say, okay, oh, it's my turn again. Let me get back to it. Do their set, go back to the mirror, do more posing. Why? They're trying to win a show. So if you wouldn't say that about a beauty contestant, someone that's in a beauty pageant, someone who wants to win Miss America or whatever these things are, why would you say that to a bodybuilder? It's virtually the same thing. They're putting their bodies up there for other people to judge. And if they know that, which they do, they're going to try to get that look that judges like. And so you have to practice, trying to get that look to look perfect. How is that a low mentality? I have no understanding of it.
Yeah, and I would argue that it's not, because the other thing which you touched on but didn't really dive into is bodybuilding is a lot about aesthetics. And so even if someone is looking in the mirror and not posing, it's probably like, okay, I'm trying to see, is my shoulders big enough? Do I need to do more on shoulders this month?
Yes, sir.
I mean, because it's about building an aesthetic. Like in Pumping Iron, Arnold says that. He's like, yeah, this whole shit is about sculpting your body to get it to look the way you want it to look and how the judges want it to look. So I just wanted to add that in because,
no, you're right.
Like, it may not even be about flexing. It may be like, all right, but let me turn and see what's my back looking like, because I can't really see. So let me look in this mirror, see, okay, yeah, I need to do more on the back.
Yeah, you're right. It is about aesthetics. People are trying to get symmetry, so it might be, man, this one is kind of bigger than this one. Maybe I got to focus more on here. I got to isolate this because I'm trying to get a certain symmetry, a certain look. So you're right. You're absolutely right. They're trying to work on that look, and their body is like a piece of clay. And so when they're working out, they may say to themselves, well, let me overarch this way to get my symmetry right because I'm a little bit off.
Even in another doc, which we mentioned here, Killer Sally. Killer Sally, they showed the gentleman, who passed, and they speak about during a competition how his calves were not as good as somebody else's calves. And so he was constantly for the next year in the gym looking at his calves, trying to get his calves to have better shape and be bigger for the next competition. Also, by the way, another bodybuilder with a huge personality in that film.
Right. All right, let's continue with this with this little post here that I want to continue to dissect.
Like that's a whole spirit. You literally in the seat of ego. So technically bodybuilders are 3 times overweight.
Right. So that was it. Yeah. I can close this now.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So I mean, that's pretty much it. That's what I wanted to get into, and we can take it further from there if you like. But just want to dispel those myths, man. Especially, I'm a fitness trainer, obviously, and I have a lot of female clients, and when I'm trying to get them to get stronger, one of the first things they say is like, "Oh wait, no, but I don't want to get too big," and I'm just like, "Get that out of your head." Like do you think these big mass monsters got that way by accident? Yo, never in history has anyone ever said, oh my God, I was working out and all of a sudden, I don't know what happened. I just got so huge and big. Right. And, I wish I can take it back. No, the people who get that big, whether they're men or women, they sacrifice so much to get that way. And it's like, yo, if you're not taking tons of drugs, don't even worry about it. You're never going to get anywhere near there. So when I'm telling you, hey, let's get you stronger, I really just want to get you stronger. You're not going to ever look like a bodybuilder until you stop doing a whole bunch of other stuff and fully dedicate your life a good solid 10 years and have, access to all kinds of drugs. Then maybe in 5 or 6 years, you're going to look super crazy. But if you're not going to do that, don't be afraid to get stronger. Please, people, building muscle is absolutely fabulous. And if you're talking about You know, because people say this all the time. Oh yeah, I want to increase my metabolism. I want to increase my metabolism. I want a high metabolism. You know, one of the things that get you a high metabolism, a lot of muscle. Muscle is greedy. Muscle
Yep.
wants to take everything from everybody else. Muscle bullies your body. It's like, nope, I'm gonna need those nutrients. Sorry, thank you. No, I'm gonna need those. And this is why people lose fat at the same time, is because the nutrients that would go into that fat, they tend to not go there because the muscle is taking so much, because you're building muscle. It's like, nah, muscles. That's why if you go into poor countries, you don't see big giant people. You go to poorer countries, you see very slim people, right? Because muscle is greedy. You can't just be like, yo, I'm not going to eat that much and get big. No, you're going to have to eat. You're going to have to feed those muscles some real food on a daily basis. So people, don't worry about getting stronger. Don't listen to these things that say don't get too big, as if you could accidentally get too big. That'll never happen. Get strong and work out.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. Yes, muscles require a lot more calories, a lot more energy to stay thriving, right? To stay there, to continue to thrive and build. They require a lot. And so, yeah, that's a great point. I think the fear is the aesthetics, right? People kind of have married certain images to certain lifestyles. And so when you say like, oh man, I'm gonna go hard in the gym, or hey, we're gonna lift weights, a lot of times people are like, oh, whoa, hold on, I don't want to look like those people. You know what I'm saying? And so I think that's kind of what happens, but it's really a lot of there are really a lot of misconceptions when it comes to the fitness world. You know, when I was 350 and we started living in the gym, all of us hanging out, working out, I didn't get bigger. I got a lot smaller. And yeah, my body took different shape because I lost a ton of fat, and new muscle was what I was building because I didn't really have any muscle. And so I looked super different a year later, but it wasn't that I was getting bigger. I was getting a lot smaller. I mean, the clothes couldn't have been worn. Like, I had to give away tons of clothes because I simply couldn't fit in it. And I was gaining lots of muscle. So it's not that my body was becoming the Incredible Hulk. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
And so I think there are a lot of just misconceptions. And I think one of the things you said, like, that's very true about metabolism. A lot of people think like, oh, I'm just going to do this one thing and that's it. And there's a lot of things, and we say it here, there's a lot of things that are tied to fitness that are really part of a journey. You're not going to get those things overnight. What you said, I'm just, you know, giving another perspective on, like, it's a journey. You're not going to get there overnight. And so if you want a faster metabolism, if you want to be stronger, if you want to be leaner, if you want to be slimmer, whatever it is, it takes work, it takes time. And I think that we should be worried less about what we see in others and more on what we see in ourselves. And to touch back on the kind of the David Goggins thing, like, that's a big part of his, you know, ideology. It's like, forget about what you see Dre doing, forget about what you see me doing, like, zone in on you and what you really are capable of, what you really want to do, what you're really trying to accomplish, and grind. And then you'll find out what you really can and cannot do. And so if you want to just get stronger, like Dre is saying, then you got to put the work in, put the time in, and yeah, lift the weight. Yeah, so all the shit that they're saying in the video, like, it's cool. That's one person's perspective. I think we did a fairly decent job of breaking it down and responding to the things that they're saying. I think a lot of it is bullshit, to be honest. I think a lot of it is an outside perspective from the outside looking in with little to no knowledge, because you can clearly see a lot of the shit they're saying are more assumptions than anything else.
Yeah.
So that's my take.
Yeah. And that's what I want people to take away from this, is that be careful of who you're getting your advice from. You know, like, are you
Right.
a fitness person? Or are you just a person who has an opinion? You know, like, are you somebody that
Right.
goes to the gym? Did you, you know, compete as a bodybuilder? Like you said, do you know bodybuilders? You hanging out with bodybuilders? You're dating bodybuilders? Like, how would you know what it takes to even be that. And when it comes to just getting fit, it's like, well, if you're not fit and you're not doing fit things, then why get advice from someone who is not in the fitness industry at all?
Yo, I left, and when I went to come back, shit said, "Yeah, you ain't got no internet." I'm like, "Come on, son. Now we just wildin'."
I don't know, man. All right, let's
Yo,
close it out
completely
before
wilded out.
before
Cuts
it,
off again, right?
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna end it here. Clearly, I'm having some tech problems. I apologize to our viewers and listeners. Anyway, thought that video was interesting, but yeah, so I hope that y'all found it interesting. And like Dre said, be careful who you get your information from. Always fact check multiple sources, because today in the day of the internet, anyone can say anything.
Right. And for more news, look back at our podcast from years ago. You're going to get a lot of nuggets in there, things that we've already discussed. We kind of covered this before, and a few other very interesting things. So I, recommend that you go back and hear some of our other stuff, man. It's pretty good. That's it. Yeah, we done. Yeah, that's it.